Greenland in the 1500s, a frozen land of stark beauty, tough settlers, and mysteries that make even seasoned historians scratch their heads. From ghostly figures to vanishing communities, this Arctic expanse is a treasure trove of the unexplained. Today, we're counting down 10 baffling mysteries from 16th century Greenland that blend history, myth, and just enough oddity to keep you guessing. Ready to dive into the icy unknown? Let's begin. Coming in at number 10 is Hvalsey Church, one of Greenland's most fascinating archaeological sites. Built by Norse settlers, it is the best preserved ruin of its kind in Greenland. But Hvalsey Church is more than just a relic of history. It's also the setting for one of the region's most enduring ghost stories. Accounts from the 1500s tell of a spectral woman seen wandering the grounds. Witnesses described her as wearing traditional Norse clothing, and she would hum a sorrowful melody at dusk. Her figure would linger briefly before vanishing into the Arctic air. Who was she? Some claim she was a bride who died tragically on her wedding day, forever tied to the church. Others believe she was a guardian spirit, watching over the sacred site. Over time, these tales have only grown. Explorers in later centuries reported hearing faint singing near the ruins, and some claim to feel a chilling presence, as if unseen eyes were watching them. Skeptics argue that these sightings and sensations could be explained by acoustics, wind passing through the stone ruins, or the eerie isolation of Greenland's wilderness. Still, the legend of Hvalsey Church's ghost has endured, and even today, some visitors swear they've seen her. Is it a case of the imagination running wild, or is there truly something, or someone haunting this ancient site? Whatever the truth, Hvalsey Church remains a hauntingly beautiful reminder of Greenland's mysterious past. At number 9, we have the silent summer of 1576, a season that baffled Greenlanders and left a mark on local folklore. That year, the usual bustling sounds of life, birds chirping, animals foraging, the howling wind, seemed to vanish overnight. The stillness was so pervasive that some residents believed the world itself was holding its breath. Historical records from the time are sparse, but oral traditions passed down through generations describe an eerie quiet that blanketed the region. Animals disappeared from sight, hunting parties returned empty-handed, and even the seas seemed unnaturally calm. Fishermen reported days without a single ripple breaking the surface, while farmers watched in confusion as their crops grew under an almost oppressive silence. Scientists today have attempted to explain this phenomenon. Some suggest that it was linked to a sudden environmental shift, perhaps volcanic activity elsewhere in the world that altered weather patterns in Greenland. Others believe it could have been the result of an unusually strong Arctic high-pressure system that stilled the air and silenced the wind. But for Greenlanders of the 1500s, the silent summer was seen as something far more ominous. Many believed it was a punishment from the spirits of the land, angered by human greed or disrespect. Some even claimed to see shadowy figures moving at the edges of the tundra, watching, waiting, ensuring the silence was upheld. Whatever the cause, the silent summer remains an enigmatic chapter in Greenland's history, a season when the land itself seemed to fall into an uneasy slumber. In 1577, the skies over Greenland lit up with a fiery spectacle that would be remembered for generations. Eyewitnesses described streaks of fire racing across the heavens, illuminating the icy tundra with an unearthly glow. Accompanying these brilliant lights were eerie sounds, hissing, crackling, and even faint whispers, leaving the stunned onlookers questioning what they had just witnessed. Today, many believe these were meteors burning up in the atmosphere, a common enough phenomenon in modern times. But there's a twist. No debris was ever found. Unlike typical meteor events, which often leave fragments scattered across the land, Greenland's fiery sky left no physical evidence. This lack of tangible remains has led some to propose alternative explanations, ranging from volcanic ash igniting in the atmosphere to an exceptionally vivid aurora borealis caused by intense solar activity. For the Greenlanders of the 1500s, however, the scientific explanations we consider today weren't on their radar. They interpreted the fiery streaks as ominous signs, perhaps the wrath of the gods or a warning of impending disaster. Some even speculated that the lights were celestial beings waging battles in the heavens, their clashes spilling over into the mortal world below. Adding to the mystery, similar fire-in-the-sky events have been reported in other parts of the Arctic over the centuries, each time sparking fear and wonder among those who witnessed them. Whether a natural phenomenon, a celestial event, or something stranger, the fire across the sky remains one of Greenland's most captivating unsolved mysteries, a tale of light, sound, and questions that continue to burn brightly in the annals of history. Erik the Red, the legendary Norse explorer who established settlements in Greenland, left behind more than just a historical legacy. By the 1500s, the ruins of his settlement had gained a dark reputation as a cursed place, feared by locals and avoided by travelers. Tales of strange occurrences and inexplicable phenomena surrounded the crumbling stone walls of these ancient sites. Visitors to the ruins often reported seeing shadowy figures moving among the stones, especially during the twilight hours. Others claimed to hear whispers, faint voices carried on the wind, speaking in a language no one could understand. The most unsettling reports, however, came from those who dared to spend the night near the ruins. Many of them emerged deeply disturbed, describing vivid nightmares, feelings of intense dread, and in some cases a descent into madness. What caused these strange experiences? One theory is that toxic gases from decaying organic material in the area could have caused hallucinations, heightening people's fear and paranoia. Another possibility is that these tales were spread deliberately, perhaps as a way to keep treasure hunters or rival settlers away from the site. But local folklore tells a different story. According to legend, Erik himself placed a curse on the land, vowing vengeance on anyone who disturbed his settlement after his departure. Whether this was true or not, the stories of madness and misfortune have persisted for centuries. Today, the ruins of Erik's settlement are a haunting reminder of Greenland's Norse past. While some visitors are drawn to the site by its historical significance, others come seeking the thrill of its ghostly legends. Either way, Erik's ruins remain a place where history and mystery collide. Fishing was a lifeline for Greenland's coastal communities in the 1500s, but it was also a dangerous profession. The icy waters and unpredictable weather made every trip a test of survival. Yet something more mysterious began happening that century. Boats would return to shore, perfectly intact, but their crews were nowhere to be found. Fishermen vanished in alarming numbers, leaving no clues behind. Their nets remained filled with fish, their tools neatly stowed, and the boats showed no signs of struggle or damage. The unexplained disappearances puzzled communities and gave rise to several theories. One practical explanation is hypothermia. In freezing conditions, even experienced sailors could become disoriented and abandon their boats, thinking they were heading towards safety. Rogue waves and sudden storms could also have swept them overboard, though this doesn't account for the eerily untouched state of their vessels. Greenlandic folklore, however, tells a different story. The Chivitok, ghostly figures said to haunt the wilderness, were blamed for luring fishermen into the icy depths. According to legend, these spirits would appear as loved ones or familiar faces, calling their victims away from safety. Once the fishermen left their boats, they were never seen again. The disappearances also led to whispers of sea monsters lurking beneath the Arctic waves, capable of silently plucking men from their vessels without a trace. These tales, though fantastical, reflect the deep unease and fear these unexplained events inspired. Even today, the mystery of Greenland's disappearing fishermen lingers in the region's lore. Were these vanishings the result of natural forces, human error, or something more sinister? Whatever the truth, the empty boats drifting back to shore serve as haunting reminders of the sea's power and its secrets. In 1572, a group of explorers stumbled upon a discovery so macabre it still sends shivers down spines, a cave filled with human bones. Many of the bones were charred, others bore unmistakable teeth marks, and they were all carefully stacked in a manner that suggested a grim purpose. The explorers' conclusion? This was the site of survival cannibalism, where desperation had driven people to the unthinkable. But this chilling discovery held an even darker twist. Analysis revealed that the bones belonged to people from different time periods, spanning decades or even centuries. This wasn't a one-time tragedy. It seemed the cave had been revisited by multiple groups over time, each leaving behind their own grim chapter. Was this a place where stranded settlers repeatedly sought refuge during harsh winters? Or was it something more sinister, such as a site of ritualistic behavior? Local legends suggest the cave was cursed, a place where those who entered would be consumed, literally and figuratively. Some whispered of a malevolent spirit that demanded sacrifices, while others believed the cave itself drove people to madness and violence. The unsettling atmosphere of the site only added to its reputation as a place best avoided. Modern archaeologists lean towards starvation as the likely cause of the cave's grim history. The Arctic winters of Greenland could be unforgiving, and survival cannibalism, while horrifying, was not unheard of in extreme conditions. Even so, the cannibal cave remains a stark reminder of humanity's vulnerability when faced with nature's harshest trials. Its bones, silent yet deeply haunting, tell a story of survival, desperation, and mysteries we may never fully understand. Imagine standing in the middle of Greenland's icy expanse during a long Arctic night. The silence is deafening, the cold cuts through every layer, and then you hear it, a low melodic hum, faint at first but steadily growing louder, as though the ice itself is alive and singing. For centuries, this strange phenomenon has captivated and unnerved Greenlanders, with reports dating as far back as the 1500s. Back then, locals believed these eerie sounds were the voices of spirits trapped beneath the ice. Some thought the melodies were warnings from the land itself, signaling danger or impending disaster. Others whispered that the sounds were created by trolls or mischievous Arctic creatures playing tricks on unwary travelers. Today, scientists offer a more grounded explanation. The singing ice is likely caused by the movement of massive ice sheets. When the ice expands or contracts due to temperature changes, it produces vibrations that travel through the frozen landscape as sound waves. These vibrations can range from low, almost imperceptible hums to higher-pitched tones that carry for miles. But even with a scientific explanation, the phenomenon retains its mystery. The exact conditions that create the most haunting melodies remain elusive, and the sounds are so unique to the Arctic environment that they defy easy classification. For those who hear it, the singing ice feels otherworldly, as if the land itself is speaking in a language only it understands. Whether you see it as a natural marvel or a supernatural enigma, Greenland's singing ice is a reminder of the incredible and sometimes unsettling wonders hidden in the frozen wilderness. In 1537, a group of explorers uncovered a remarkable and deeply puzzling discovery: a monastery buried beneath the ice near Greenland's eastern coast. Inside, they found frozen bodies of monks, preserved as though time itself had stopped. But that wasn't the only mystery. Among the artifacts they recovered were ornate chalices, intricately carved stones, and a map etched into the monastery floor. This map depicted landmasses that Europeans of the time had not yet discovered. The monastery quickly became a source of fascination and speculation. How had it ended up beneath so much ice? And why were the monks frozen in such serene positions, almost as if they had willingly embraced their icy fate? Some historians theorize that the monastery fell victim to the rapidly changing climate of the Little Ice Age, which engulfed parts of Greenland in glaciers. Others suggest that the monks might have chosen isolation as a spiritual practice, retreating to Greenland's unforgiving landscape in search of enlightenment or escape. The map, however, has sparked even wilder theories. Some believe it's evidence that these monks had access to secret knowledge, perhaps gained from ancient civilizations or even extraterrestrial beings. Skeptics argue that the map was simply a speculative artistic representation of the world as the monks imagined it, rather than an accurate depiction of uncharted territories. To this day, the frozen monastery remains an enigma. Its artifacts, preserved in ice, hint at stories we may never fully understand. Were these monks visionaries, explorers, or simply victims of Greenland's harsh environment? Whatever the truth, their icy sanctuary has captured imaginations for centuries, standing as a testament to the mysteries hidden in Greenland's frozen past. The icy waters around Greenland were crucial for trade and survival in the 1500s, but they also became the stage for one of the region's most haunting mysteries, the phantom trading ships. Fishermen and coastal villagers frequently reported seeing large, unmanned vessels drifting silently on the horizon. These ghostly ships seemed intact, with no visible damage, yet there was no sign of their crews or cargo. Stories of these ships quickly spread, with locals speculating about their origins. Some believed these vessels were abandoned after their crews succumbed to hypothermia, disease, or starvation during harsh Arctic voyages. Others suggested violent storms swept the sailors overboard, leaving the ships to aimlessly wander the seas. But here's the strange part. Many of these ships were found in pristine condition, as if their crews had vanished into thin air. The mystery didn't end there. Sailors who dared to board these vessels reported feeling an overwhelming sense of unease. Some claimed to hear faint whispers, footsteps on the deck, or the distant sound of a ship's bell ringing, without wind or hands to move it. This led to the belief that the ships were cursed, ghost vessels condemned to roam the Arctic waters forever. Modern researchers suggest more plausible explanations, such as abandoned ships caught in ocean currents or mirages caused by the extreme cold, which could make distant ships appear closer and eerier than they actually were. Yet, the stories of the phantom trading ships continue to captivate imaginations. Whether these vessels were casualties of nature or something more supernatural, their legend endures. The empty decks and silent journeys of these ghostly ships remind us of the sea's power to preserve its secrets. At the top of our list is Greenland's most famous and enduring mystery, the disappearance of its Viking settlers. By the early 1500s, the once thriving Norse colonies, established by Erik the Red centuries earlier, had vanished completely. Their homes, farms, and churches remained, but the people were gone, leaving behind only a haunting silence. Theories about their disappearance abound. Some historians suggest that the settlers fell victim to the harsh climate changes of the Little Ice Age, which made farming and survival increasingly difficult. Others believe they were unable to compete with the Inuit, who were better adapted to the Arctic environment. But here's the strangest part. There's no evidence of a violent struggle or mass starvation. It's as if the Vikings simply walked away. Some speculate that the settlers left Greenland entirely, sailing west to explore North America or south to join European settlements. Yet, no records of their migration have ever been found. Other theories are darker. Could an unknown disease have wiped them out so quickly that they didn't have time to bury their dead? Or was there something even more sinister at play? Adding to the intrigue, local legends tell of strange lights seen in the sky around the time of the settlers' disappearance, leading some to wonder if the answer lies beyond this world. Could the Vikings have been victims of an extraterrestrial encounter? While such ideas may seem far-fetched, the lack of definitive answers keeps this mystery open to interpretation. Whatever the truth, the disappearance of Greenland's Vikings remains one of history's most chilling enigmas. Their empty settlements stand as silent witnesses to a story that may never be fully told. From ghost ships to singing ice and frozen monasteries, Greenland's 16th century mysteries prove that truth really is stranger than fiction. These stories remind us how much of the past remains hidden, frozen in time, waiting to be uncovered. Which mystery left you the most intrigued? Share your theories in the comments, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the unknown.